Coach Drinkwitz, what's going on, man? Chase Daniels show. I don't know what episode this is, but it's sponsored by Launch Hydrate, and I really appreciate it because today we got the GOAT in right here, Mizzou football, man. How you doing, Coach? How you doing?
Yeah, you're right. You can't give yourself the self-proclamation the GOAT. I mean, hell, I've won one game. I mean, golly. We were just talking before you got on that was an exciting win since you took down number one Kansas in Arrowhead. But no, we're doing good, man. It's Tuesday. To be honest, in coach speak terms, we've kind of moved past it. It was a really big win and really exciting. But we had our team meeting yesterday, and when you watch the film, you kind of lose all the energy from the win because then you immediately go into, man, we did all these things that we've got to get better and corrected. And as a player and a coach, I think you're always wanting your next performance to be your best performance, and so that's our mindset now. But it was awesome. I'll give us that.
And it's Toughness Tuesday, right, for you, Coach? That's what you're calling it today?
Toughness
Tuesday, what does that mean?
Well, it's just, Tuesday's got to be the most physical practice of the week. We ask our guys, they're going to get a lift today. They're going to practice today. It's going to be the longest day in the office for everybody, the coaches, the players, everybody in the organization. You got to display a level of physical toughness and mental toughness. And I'm sure you've heard this throughout your career. Practice execution equals game day reality. So you're only going to be as good as you practice. And one of the challenges for us really after the game on Saturday was we got to practice to improve. I really didn't feel like the first 3 weeks of the season, we were like just practicing to practice, like, oh, well, this is what the looks will be like, but on Saturday we'll do it really well. And we got to practice to improve and really get more efficiency out of our practices and more execution out of our practices and more fight and fundamental soundness. So, that's really for us what Toughness Tuesday is. And I've been on our staff pretty hard and our coaches pretty hard today. So we'll see how it comes back.
Yeah, you got to have the best practice of the week today. But, Coach, I'd be remiss if I didn't – I want to take some of these fans that are going to be watching this just back through the game. I know you as a staff and the players have moved on. But, I mean, speaking as a fan, like I'm a fan of the University of Missouri and Mizzou football. And to see – like I'm on my iPad – watching this game because my kids, I had to put them on TV. My wife was in Napa Valley all weekend. I had all three of them by myself.
Oh, wow.
And it's 9 a.m. kickoff out here Pacific time. So the kids are up rolling and I'm trying to make breakfast while I'm watching it. And I'm just watching it. I'm like, man, the first thing that stood out to me was Brady Cook. And everyone heard what you said about him. And I put something out about him. Like the dude threw for 356 yards, 2 touchdowns. He almost doubled his passing attempts from the previous week against Middle Tennessee State. Mm-hmm. Like, just talk a little bit about his improvement, his growth, even from last year. And was that by design that you decided, hey, let this guy air it out a little bit? Were you holding back what you put on tape a little bit, or did the game plan just dictate it, as I know it can from week to week?
Yeah, I think kind of both, honestly. I mean, I think, one, we went into the game plan more in a pass-first situation. I mean, going against K-State from last year, we knew, they're not a team that wants to play from behind. And so we felt like we needed to throw the ball more to try to establish the lead. Now, it didn't necessarily work out that way. We had to come from behind 4 different times, and that's probably the reason I'm the most proud of our team. That shows a level of mental toughness and fortitude that is really tough to have this day and age. But Brady has always been a very accurate passer at the short intermediate stuff, but we really always needed to increase his vertical pass game, and that's what he showed in the game. I think that was the difference in the game for us was him being able to throw the ball vertically down the field. The first touchdown of the game was a big throw to Luther on a deep post route. He hit Marquise late or early in the fourth quarter on a deep post route that he had missed early in the season. So I think that's just obviously the growth. I think the other thing that was so amazing was, he got a pretty significant bone bruise in the second quarter on a hyperextended knee, and it really limited what his best combination is his ability to run the football and his ability to throw. And he didn't have the ability to run and really escape the pocket the way he normally does. So for him to sit in the pocket and make those throws, I thought was a lot of growth. And then obviously the 2-minute drive. I mean, take what the defense gives you, and eventually they'll give you the game. And that's really what he did. He kept hitting the little, he started off with a flat. We handed the ball off, got the first down. He hit a check down, hit an in cut, hit a check down, hit an in cut. now we're in field goal range.
Yeah, no, I thought just in general, especially what you're saying, like a lot of people don't understand, a lot of fans don't understand, a lot of people that with outside the game, like when you get an injury to a quarterback, especially like that, takes away half of what he's, I mean, in my opinion, like half of his game. Right now, he ultimately becomes a pocket passer where, hey, he's got to get the ball out quick and in rhythm, and no other way to do that than the Luther Burden post. Like I saw max protection, a through route, a post route. They were playing a quarters. I mean, it was like you had to have been, when that play came out of Kirby's mouth, like you had to have been like, oh my gosh, just give me quarters, give me quarters, give me quarters.
Yeah.
And then Luther just goes by. But also like you were saying, him practicing that throw was as pretty as I've seen. Yeah. He's on time, in rhythm, over the top, doesn't let him slow down. What did you see on that play when it came out?
Yeah, so it was a little play action pro that we had a switch route with a fly motion to try to hold the backside safety, which if we got the backside safety hold, we knew the take was a real option. I thought the really the best part of that throw was the quarterback had to do it, what we call a slide set throw, where there was a little bit of leakage in the protection to the right, and instead of getting antsy, he just slid 2 steps to the pocket, and like you're saying, threw it on time. He wasn't late. It was a 3-step slide, hitch up, and throw the ball, and he put it in a perfect spot. You know, he missed that not the exact same throw, but a similar throw in the middle game, and so for him to make that throw, I thought was, for us, it was a fast start on offense, and especially with the way they scored in that first kind of fluky tip ball, for us to come right back down the field and score, I think it was a sigh of relief for everybody in the program. Like, we're going to be just fine today.
Yeah,
and that's really what happened. Now we kind of went into a little bit of a lull there. We got the interception and scored, but then we really had 2 series right there where we could have really applied max pressure and didn't execute the way we want to. But this game is not without error. I think that's what I got to remind myself all the time is it is still a game, and you're playing with a lot of different parts. And so it's never going to be perfect, but the fight that our team displayed was perfect.
And I think, when I was there, and I've told people this before, when I was there and you guys so graciously allowed me into some of the inside information and inner workings of the program, like to me, I was just blown away. And one was not only from you and just what you brought to the program in terms of the details that you did from the staff meeting to the way you ran practice to every little thing that you're looking at. Like to me, that was really cool. And another thing was just like your belief when you talked to me and your belief in Brady Cook. Like to me, just being in the quarterback room, just sort of seeing it, just being a fly on the wall, just seeing his development. Like he has 5 touchdowns, and the biggest stat for you this year is no interceptions. He's not turning the ball over. To me, that's winning quarterback play. And when the fans started booing him, and you went on your little tangent after post game, like, what's your message to the fan base right now? Because to me, you said it nice. Like you said it nicely to the fan base.
Yeah, and here's the thing. It was pregame, right? And we got a ton of recruits on the field, right? And they're announcing our starters. And for that to occur it's bad for business. Let's just be honest. It's just bad for business. It's bad for recruiting. We need to be the most, hey, if you go to school, man, they're going to be behind you. They're going to be behind you. They're going to support you. And honestly, like, I didn't feel like there's probably going to be another time in my career that I had probably as much cachet to expend at that spot. Like,
no doubt.
He played as well as he played, and we won the game. So we need to just kind of put it out there. Like, let's just get behind. And here's the reality of it is, I think what happens is in social media, there's a few people out there that are creating content, and it sways the middle part of the fans.
Yeah.
And we just got to get those middle part of the fans to understand, man, you got to ignore the noise just like all of the rest of us do and look at it with your own eyes.
Yeah.
And again, we'll see this week. Brady's going to be out for today's practice. And now you transition. As much confidence as I had in Brady, I got in both Sam and Jake. And now we got to get those guys ready. And that's football, man. That's life. That's this game. The next guy has always got to be ready. And as a team, you can't lose your confidence or your mojo. You just got to rally and support whoever's in there. And that's what we're going to do. It's like today in our press conference, I said, it's like what you said on the Friday night motivational video, which is we got to focus on this play and we got to focus on what's right in front of us. And that's what we're going to do this week as we move forward.
Yeah, as you go forward with practice, I mean, I'd be remiss not to ask. So Brady Cook not practicing, what are the chances, depending on how he does with rehab, that he's going to be out there? And if not, like just the belief level in what Sam and the other guys can bring to the table.
Yeah, I mean, it's way too early in the week to
Yeah,
tell. You're never sure how a body's going to respond, especially with bruising. So I would say he's day to day. Obviously he's played enough games that um, really we need to see him practice by Thursday. I think if you
yeah,
practice by Thursday, you're fine. So we'll see. I'm not going to make any predictions or decisions until we get to that Thursday anyway. I
yeah,
have a lot of confidence. I mean, similar to what we did in the second half with the South Dakota game, like we left Sam in there because, hey, that's what he needs to learn and push through. And he's been getting a ton of reps. He's throwing the ball really well right now. He can handle the full gamut of the offense, which I think is really the biggest sign of growth for anybody, that you feel like, okay, he can do the whole thing. And that's probably the same thing with Jake, is like, he's an experienced player who's played a lot of college football, so he can handle the volume of offense that you're going to carry.
yeah. No, that's great. And then let's go back, because I didn't even know. I just wanted to get right into quarterback play because that's
Yeah.
who I am. But thicker kicker, man, Harrison Mevis, like
That
61-yard field
Wow.
goal. Okay, 61 is a different animal. Obviously, take us through the process of the 2-minute drive, going down there, lining up for a 56-yarder, and then delay of game penalty, and then 61-yard, and then you having the wherewithal that, hey, we got confidence in you. He'd been up and down, obviously, like one of the best kickers in the country
Yeah.
the past 4 years. Like, take me through that whole process, and what was the confidence level like when you took him out there and sent him out for the 61?
So they had one timeout left. I think that we got the ball back with maybe like 126 inside the 20. So the first thing was, let's get a first down, because the worst thing that could happen would be 3 incompletions and punt it to them on the 40-yard line, and they have a shot. So like, let's protect ourselves. We threw a little flat, got it. Luther breaks a tackle. We run a Indy smack scheme. That inside zone with a little split flow action that gets about 8. So now it was like, okay, let's go get to the 40, and we're going to kick the field goal. Kirby calls kind of a stick dig concept, and we throw the dig, which is a first down. Then we throw a stick concept. I think I called timeout. And then we come back and hit the other dig concept. We spike it. I had said, hey, let's go to we're trying to get 5 more yards. It's like a barrier play.
Yep.
And when I turned around and start talking to the special teams coordinator, because we need to be prepared to cover at that distance, like the kick six. I just did not communicate nearly well enough that was not a timeout. For some reason, there was confusion, and the offense kind of walked to us because I think they thought we were going to kick it. At the end of the day, that's my responsibility. It was poorly done by me. We took the delay of game, and he ends up having a 61-yarder. Now they have 2 number 8s on the field, so that's what the flag was thrown for by the back.
Yeah, I was going to ask what was the flag?
Yeah, so we knew we were getting a second kick, but the reality of it was Harrison's not been great at the 50s, so we figured we'll try 60s, and a lot less pressure to 60s. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy when you see the end zone copy. He kicks it, and then he starts walking off like he knew he hit it. And
the walk off.
Yeah,
it was about as flush as it could be.
Yeah, and I mean, he set the record for the most 50 or 60 yarders in a career, or 50 yarders in a career. Set the record for most field goal made in his career at Mizzou, and then obviously the SEC record. So.
Which is
and I tell you what I'm the most proud of is every time he's been interviewed, it's always been we deserve to win.
I noticed that.
We held it, we snapped it, we kicked it, and I mean that's just remarkable, right? That doesn't always happen. So
really, I mean, in front of the first sold out crowd in a while, right? Home crowd, early start, and then what was the atmosphere like when he kicked it? Because there's no time left, everyone's freaking out. To be completely honest, on the broadcast, I was like, no, there's a flag. Like, he just crushed a 61-yard field goal, and no one explained anything for like 3 minutes, and they're like, okay, it's finally good. But like, obviously they showed the crowd. I mean, it was just black and gold everywhere on the field.
I'm glad it wasn't on us, because there was no way we were getting that game back in order. It was one of those cool, it's honestly just a really cool moment, because it was so spontaneous. Like, that's what college football storming the field is supposed to be. You got an unbelievable game. It was a great game. And you kick hopefully it's not a once in a lifetime, but potentially a once in a lifetime kick. Yeah. And everybody just goes to the field and storms it and celebrates it. And it's one of those moments you'll have for a long time. I thought Cody Schrader said it best. It cannot be the highlight of our season. That's not what it's going to be. Yep. And so, as a team, we got to put it away. As a fan, we'll enjoy it for a long time, but it's not going to be the highlight of our season. And if we're not ready to go to work this Saturday, we're going to, as much excitement as there is, there'll be as much egg on our face. So.
Yeah. And that's something I was going to move into. I mean, like you said, Toughness Tuesday, you guys have moving on to this 3-0 Memphis team. What are you focusing on this week? What do you want to do this week in practice? And I mean, they're 3-0, the game's in Illinois. There better be sold out Mizzou fans there, guys. But like, what's focusing on the team, and what are you going to continue to keep building forward as you move on in the season?
Yeah. We have a very clear mantra in our team, which is 1-0 and this play mentality. And this is where it's got to show up, right? This is where it's got to show up, that we're focused on the things that we can control and focusing on this play. And that's got to be this practice, this game being 1-0. I think the other thing we've really harped on is we've got to practice to improve. And I just didn't feel like the first 2 weeks that was the mindset on Tuesdays. And so from a coaching staff to a player, they have heard that from me to nauseum, and they're going to have to display it today, or there's going to be a foot in their rear ends, So I think that's really it. And then the third thing is, it is a home game, but we do have to treat it as a road game from travel and standpoint. And anytime you travel, it's just us, right? It's got to be a focus on just us, focus on us, executions based on us. We can't let anything outside of what we control affect our execution and preparation. And so that's really the mindset. We have a bunch of signs. Cos, will you grab that on the doors around here? I'll share this with you. It says
inside information right here. I love it.
Yeah, it says don't drink the Kool-Aid. And for us, this is just like, look, don't drink the Kool-Aid. No matter what you think, no matter what you think happened on Saturday, don't get caught up in the praise or the blame. Like, Kool-Aid is a great tasting drink, but it's got a lot of calories, high in sugar, and really is not fulfilling. And that's the same thing when you're logging on Twitter and looking all that other stuff. It's really not fulfilling, because it's not going to help you reach your full potential. So for us this week, don't drink the Kool-Aid, and let's keep working.
Coach, I appreciate you getting us on here, man. The inside information, I don't take it for granted. Like, I was able to text you yesterday, and you said, of course, anything for you. I really appreciate you taking the time. 1-0 this week, Toughness Tuesday. I really appreciate you taking the time, Coach.
All right, brother. Well, hey, I appreciate you. I mean, you came out here, spoke to our team, got us going, and it's awesome to see you excelling in life after football. And you said earlier that you didn't tell me that you had to take care of the kids all weekend, so you probably have earned the right to work today on a Tuesday.
Yes, there's no doubt.
Don't let your wife give you too much of a hard time, bud.
I won't, Coach. I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Man. Be good. Thank you.